So I'm going to walk you guys through how I teach a dog to go to a specific spot. So you guys see me do this with my dog in a lot of the videos. I send her between two target spots and it just helps her understand where she needs to go, where she needs to be if I'm working with another dog. What this does for you at home is if you're sitting eating your Chipotle burrito and your dog's in your face, you can send them to a spot to go. So the marker word I use is yes. And the release word I use is okay. What these two words do is they help your dog understand when they got something right and when they are done with whatever you've asked them to do. So when using the word yes, you want to think of it as like if you're playing a video game and you get a coin and it's like bling bling, that sound that goes off is like good job. So every time Baloo gets to the towel, I give a yes and then I reward. So there's the sound and then she gets her coins. And then I have her wait for just a small second at this point. And then when she's done, I'll release her. I'll tell her okay. So in the beginning, I make it really, really easy for her. I walk with her all the way up to the towel. I pretty much ask her to sit next to me and then I mark yes. And now I'm at the point where she's starting to put the pieces together and she's starting to go to the spot on her own and remain there. So now when I use my marker word, it is when she sits. And we're going to do a little bit of troubleshooting as well, because you'll see in this video she gets confused and starts to shut down a little bit. So I'm going to troubleshoot that through you. So then what I start to do is I ask the dog to come to me and then I send her to the spot on her own without guidance. And I do ask for the sit. So here is where she shuts down a little bit, gets a little confused. And this can happen for a lot of dogs. They kind of get to the point where they're like, no, just take me there. So after I know she's got some basic understanding of it, and she starts to shut down a little bit like this, I restrict my feedback. So feedback is any communication you're giving to the dog. So right here, I want you to notice I have completely frozen. She becomes just a little like overwhelmed and she's looking for some guidance. She's kind of like, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to do now. So then, since she didn't want to go all the way up to the towel and she was kind of gridlocked there, I stepped on the leash and I just kind of threw some cookies on the towel. And she wanted to go, but she was restricted because of the leash. So this builds a drive to want to go to the place. And then it's kind of like you want what you can't have. So at first she was kind of like, no, I don't want to go there. I want you to take me there. And once the cookies were on there, she was like, well, I want to go over there, obviously. And she wasn't able to. So now I noticed she was getting a little tired and I wanted to use different reward systems to make this exercise really fun for her. So Baloo is a really high energy, very interactive dog. So I start to use just praise and play as her reward. So she got to the target spot. We go into like a bouncy play mode. And instead of the cookies becoming her coins, or I guess her reward, when I say yes, I start to just get crazy with her. And we have worked together for a little bit, so I can calm her down by asking for her sit, even though she's in that state of mind of going nuts. So there, I sent her, she turned around to look and her ear was a little all messed up, but she's like, okay, we get to play now? And it's like, yeah, we totally do. And there's that feedback moment where she was looking for more guidance. So I took away my communication and she's getting real tired at this point. So she's kind of just getting, I call it like roasty brain, where her brain's just kind of like, ooh, I've done a lot, pretty tired. It's kind of like when you do a ton of math and your brain just kind of turns to mush. I call her to me, but she wanted water. And when a dog wants water, that's like the one thing I'm like, all right, handle your business and we'll get back to it afterwards. It can be really distracting if your dog is too thirsty or too tired to do work, or too frustrated and stressed, which you guys will see in my other videos, how I decompress a dog and how I help them through frustration and give them breaks. So once she had a little water break, we went into layering. So layering is something I refer to often. It is just advancing what we were just working on, making it harder. So because Baloo is a very high energy, fast dog, we do her doorway work and use the place cue or the go to bed cue as like a really stationary spot for her. So she's really interactive with people. There was someone, my other coworker, sitting at the lobby desk. I had her talk to Baloo, and when Baloo got up, I corrected her. I put her back on the mat. So here's where you see like how efficient she becomes with it. She goes to get up. I close the door so there's a consequence. She cannot go see whoever she wants to go see. She looks over at the friend, and then the friend talks to her, and then she looks back at me, and I reward her, release her to go say hello. So this is just like a really good little run through. And if you guys wonder why I do all these, I pretty much work through a lot of the same things with each dog. And it's because these basic communication skills, when you're doing these exercises, are going to translate to everywhere you go in the world. Your boundary markers, your marking behaviors such as yes and good. We're building an understanding in the dog, a language for the dog, so that when we are out in the world and things are even more confusing for them, we can better guide them because they understand us and they understand what they're supposed to be doing. They understand when they do something wrong and we tell them no. We just want to make sure that communication is really, really clear. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you have any questions, you know where to find me, and I will talk to you soon.